It's scary. I have the camera on the wrong side, but I do know that they have the camera on and this is filming. So for people that, if you guys miss a day, usually they'll send you a copy of it. You just have to request it. And we're gonna start going. So I'm Sharon, my last name's Butler. Some of you guys know that. Some of you guys haven't taken the class ever with me, but I'm a crazy instructor. So I wanna make sure you guys learn as much as you can about the mortgage process. So I'm sorry about Monday for those of you that were signed up for Monday, because I got bleach in my eye and it was quite painful. I cannot even believe that happened. It was crazy. So anyway, we're gonna do tonight, tomorrow, and Friday night. Tomorrow night, we're gonna look at rate sheets. We're gonna look at the loan estimates. So we're gonna look at more items. I'm gonna get an updated rate sheet. It's kind of scary because the rates did go up a lot, kind of like gasoline. What's up with that? So anyway, here we go. So when somebody's looking for a loan, now some of you guys have your real estate license, and since it's a small class, this is always a small class. There's always less than 20 people. To me, that's a small class because we're used to 100 people online. It's super crazy. So you guys can unmute and ask questions. You guys in class can ask questions because you have to learn, and you can't learn without asking questions. So when somebody very, very first wants to buy a home or refinance their home, there's a couple of questions that we ask them. So as real estate agents, you know, I find it really interesting that most real estate agents don't know how to do this. However, the first thing I ask clients whenever they're looking to buy a home is, do you have a down payment? So there's three things I care about when I'm talking to somebody. Do you have a down payment? Don't worry, we'll go over these things several times. What's your debt to income ratio? And how's your credit? So this says, looking for a loan, where do I start? So buyers sometimes they shop around on the internet and they call around, and a lot of them don't know what to even ask. And that's why we started using the APR. So back in the day, a long time ago, we didn't use the APR. So the APR is the cost of money. And technically, if somebody knows how to shop for a mortgage, they know that if they ask for the APR, that will tell them who has the best rate. And that's because how the APR works, and we'll get on that. So there's lots of stuff you guys are gonna learn, and there's a lot of stuff that we may have to go over twice. We do start with a review tomorrow. So when somebody's looking for a loan, a lot of times they'll look on the internet or they'll ask their real estate agent for a referral. So this class was actually originally started because when COVID hit, we had a ton of students, but they couldn't take their real estate class, but they didn't want to lose the information that they had. So I'm like, hey, why don't we do a class to show real estate agents how to qualify buyers? And so this actually was originally for real estate agents to understand how buyers qualify. But then all the loan officers started taking this class because we kind of, I don't want to say we quit teaching Mortgage 101. It's just that class is so in-depth that I wanted to do something that was kind of fun that you guys could learn at the same time, use it in the real world. How about that? So as a real estate agent, you really shouldn't just tell your clients to talk to one loan officer. And that's because if you give them one loan officer or one home inspector or one termite company, and you say, this is the one person I use, per the CAR attorney, he said, never give somebody one person. You should always give them two or three and say, these are a couple people that I know what they're doing, and you can call them and call around. Because if you tell them to use one person, let's say you tell them to use one home inspector, and they call that home inspector and he comes out and then he doesn't find something, and then they close escrow and they find out that he missed it, they may come to you and go, well, you told me to use that home inspector and he didn't see that leak, and now we have this leak problem. So with that said, I always tell real estate agents, you should probably give them at least two, maybe three good loan officers that you feel are confident and know what they're doing. So whether your client is looking for a loan officer on the internet or you give them a referral, this is where they start. It says referrals in many cases, the first place a buyer will go to is the real estate agent prior to shopping for a loan. This is putting the cart before the horse. So it's interesting that buyers, they don't really know that they should go to a loan officer before they go to a real estate agent. They just figure if they go to the real estate agent, they'll tell them who to go to for the loan. Does that make sense? And so I always say, well, you're putting the horse behind the cart when you're going to the real estate agent first. Does that make sense? Because you have to know what you qualify for before you go to the real estate agent. And most real estate agents don't know how to pre-approve a client, okay? Says real estate agents, if buyers come to you first, as many buyers do, you need to be prepared. So as a real estate agent, you can ask them a few questions, but a lot of times they'll expect you to give them a loan officer to go to. But you should probably ask them a couple questions to prepare them. Like, they have to have a steady income. The main thing is they have to have 2 years in the same line of work. That's 2 years, same line of work. They also have to have some kind of down payment. And right now in this market, they have to have a down payment. If they don't have a down payment and they're gonna get a buyer assistance, so you can get down payment assistance. However, the problem with the down payment assistance is if your client is using a down payment assistant program and they're up against somebody who's putting 20% down or somebody who's paying cash, if you were the seller, who would you take? You would take the all cash buyer because you know they're gonna close. Does that make sense? So I would prepare them by asking them, do you have a down payment? Are you in the same line of work? And approximately what's your credit score? Now, a lot of the people know what their credit score is nowadays. However, some people go, well, I don't know how to run my credit, or I have no idea what my credit score is. Then my next question is, on a scale from 1 to 10, what do you think your credit is? And some people, like, they'll throw some really horrible number out there. Like, I had one person tell me they said, I have horrible credit. And I said, well, why is it so bad? And they said, because I have a bankruptcy. Well, the next question I asked them is, how long ago was your bankruptcy? And they said, well, it was like 10 years ago. I don't care if you have a bankruptcy as long as it's at least 3 years old, okay? So a lot of times people think they have really bad credit when they don't, and a lot of people don't know where to go when they're looking for a loan. However, do some shopping first. Since many buyers come to you first, so buyers go to the real estate agent first, you need to be professional and help your buyer. Helping your buyer understand the mortgage process will take out the frustration and ease the buying process. So a lot of times buyers have things that they don't like. And what's going on is I am a CAR director right now. I was a CAR director a few years ago. So you have to get voted in to be a CAR director. That's California Association of Realtors. And we went to this big, huge meeting. And at the big, huge meeting, this time it was about, what do you think buyers dislike about the buying process? The two main things. Number one, my real estate agents that are online and my real estate agents in the class, because I know you guys just got your license and he's actually under my license. And so the number one thing, is lack of communication. So I hope you guys have a pen and a paper. Sit on down, come on in. So lack of communication with your buyer is one of the main things that buyers don't like. So if they are texting you or they want to go see a home, you need to be ready to jump when they say how high. The second thing that buyers hate is the loan process. They hate the loan process because they feel like they're going to be turned down and they don't want to be turned down. So, and those of you that were late, don't worry about it. I am taping it. So I have the beginning of class on video. So as long as you're a real estate agent and you take the frustration out, they won't leave you. You don't want to lose your buyers. And if you send them to a loan officer that is not very professional or does not make it seem like it's an easy process, then a lot of times they'll give up. And you don't want them to give up. So I'm going to give you a story. I got lots of stories to make you guys understand why I do what I do. So this is my favorite story so that real estate agents understand when you send your client to different places, sometimes if they get frustrated, they'll get frustrated and they'll stop looking for a home and you just lost a buyer.